Welcome in, everyone. It's so great to have you sitting down with us today.
It really is. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, whether you are prepping for a deep focus work session or catching up on the latest literature in the field, or you just have this insatiable curiosity about the hidden mechanics of the world around you, you are in exactly the right place.
Absolutely.
Today, we have a really special deep dive planned for you. Our mission is to pull from two incredible sources. We're looking at excerpts from The Wisdom of Thousand-Layer Quartz and the highly detailed, curated insights from Crystals by Rob.
Two fantastic texts.
Right. And we are taking this material and distilling it down so you can walk away with some profound insights about patience, emotional resilience, and long-term energetic stability. And we're viewing all of this through the lens of a highly unusual geological formation.
That is exactly the focus today. We are looking at a very specific geologically rare subject. You will often hear it referred to as thousand-layer quartz, or in mineralogical terms, growth interference quartz.
Growth interference quartz. It even sounds intense.
It does. And to really grasp the insights from our sources, we have to start with the physical reality of how this stone is formed, because that physical formation maps flawlessly onto the metaphysical properties we are going to be exploring.
Yeah, it's not just your standard smoothly terminated quartz point, right?
No, not at all. This stone features profound, distinct, stacked, step-like formations. They exist both inside and outside the crystal lattice.
Right, and it's that geological rarity that really sets the stage for everything else we're going to talk about today. Because as we see in the literature, those step-like formations are the literal result of interrupted growth cycles.
Exactly. Interruption is the key word here.
So the crystal begins its natural growth process in a silica-rich environment, and then something dramatic happens. The environment just shifts.
Yes, maybe the temperature drops significantly.
Right. Or another mineral, like calcite, enters the matrix and coats the quartz, effectively starving it. It forces the crystal to just pause.
It stops completely. But then, eons later, conditions change again. The interference dissolves, and the quartz resumes its growth directly over that old, paused termination point.
And this happens over and over, creating these visible, trapped layers.
It is a phenomenal record of survival and adaptation. Metaphysically, the wisdom of thousand-layer quartz translates this physical reality directly into what the stone represents for human development.
How so?
Well, those visible layers are revered not as flaws, which is how some might see them, but as representations of accumulated wisdom, deep spiritual integration, and multidimensional awareness. The text treats each visible layer as a repository of energetic memory.
Wow.
That makes this crystal a very powerful, highly specialized ally for conscious evolution and long-term healing rather than, a superficial quick fix.
Okay, let's unpack this because the emotional properties of the stone run completely counter to the usual narrative we see in modern holistic practices.
They really do.
There is this fascinating paradox in the reading. When a lot of people turn to energetic healing, they are actively looking for the spiritual microwave.
The spiritual microwave. That is such a good way to put it.
Right. They want rapid emotional release. They want to purge a decade of grief or anxiety by next Tuesday.
And that's just not how it works.
Exactly. But thousand-layer quartz is the spiritual slow cooker. The text explicitly frames this stone as supporting gradual, sustainable healing. It is designed to help you process complex emotions one single level at a time.
And we really need to pause and look at the psychology of why that slow burn matters so much, especially if you are someone dealing with layered trauma, complicated grief, or just long-standing, deeply entrenched behavioral patterns.
It's vital.
Think about what actually happens in the human nervous system with rapid, forced emotional release. It frequently leads to emotional flooding.
Yeah, you throw the floodgates open.
Right, and suddenly your nervous system is completely overwhelmed by the sheer, unmitigated volume of what you are processing. People end up shutting down, dissociating, or spiraling.
Exactly. It's that feeling when you try to deal with everything at once and end up just doom scrolling on your couch because your brain cannot handle the bandwidth.
We've all been there.
What thousand-layer quartz does, according to the text, is create a safe emotional container. It deliberately prevents that overwhelm. By structuring the way you work through emotions, it encourages actual emotional maturity and calm reflection. instead of just a raw, reactive expression of pain.
It is the difference between a dam bursting and a highly engineered release valve safely venting pressure. The naturally stacked formations of the quartz literally symbolize those intricate emotional experiences that we build up over a lifetime.
You can't just bypass them.
No, you cannot force 30 years of layered, complex emotional history to resolve overnight without causing collateral damage. The stone, as an energetic tool, enforces a respect for that natural rhythm. It allows healing to unfold organically, layer by layer, ensuring you actually integrate the lesson before moving on.
Which brings us to another brilliant contradiction in this material, this time regarding its raw energetic mechanics.
Oh, the amplification aspect.
Yes. Universally, when you see quartz mentioned in energetic literature, it is categorized as a supreme amplifier. It takes whatever energy is present and turns the volume dial all the way up to 10.
Correct.
But the wisdom of thousand-layer quartz frames this specific layered iteration as a grounding, calm, structured force. Those two ideas, amplification and absolute calm, usually do not sit in the same room.
They don't. And what's fascinating here is that the geological structure of the crystal acts as a sort of energetic baffle or acoustic padding.
I love that analogy.
It fundamentally changes the delivery mechanism of that amplification. Yes, it remains a high-powered amplifier, but it operates as a stabilizing amplifier.
It filters it.
Exactly. The internal layered growth boundaries are believed to regulate, refine, and step down the energy flow. Instead of hitting your system with a massive, ungrounded spike of amplified energy, it structures it. It drip feeds the power through the system gradually.
Which is a total lifesaver for anyone listening who identifies as an energetically sensitive person.
Oh, without a doubt.
We all know that feeling of walking into a chaotic, open-plan office or sitting through a dense meeting and feeling your energy just drain right out of your shoes.
It's exhausting.
You need energetic reinforcement, but if you use a standard high-vibration tool, it just overstimulates an already exhausted nervous system. This stone acts like an energetic buffer. You receive the high-capacity support, but without the chaotic overload that fries your circuits.
Precisely. And when we look at the practical applications outlined in the text, they lean heavily into this concept of systemic integrity.
Keeping the system whole.
Yes. Energetically, thousand-layer quartz is heavily utilized to strengthen and repair the auric field. Because of that layered, scaffolded structure, it provides long-term energetic reinforcement. When Crystals by Rob talks about sealing an energetic leak, think about that exact scenario you just mentioned.
Leaving a crowded room and feeling psychically bled dry.
Right. The text suggests the layered structure acts like insulation against that bleed. Over time, it patches those weak points, reinforces your boundaries, and helps restore a baseline of balance after periods of profound emotional stress or spiritual burnout.
It grounds all that high-frequency data right down into the physical body so it becomes usable, rather than just leaving you ungrounded and scattered.
Yeah.
It anchors your insights into your daily mundane life.
Really does.
The core theme across both our sources is undeniable. No sudden volatile shifts, just steady, disciplined, highly regulated energy.
And that requirement for steady, disciplined energy is what makes it such an indispensable tool for long-term spiritual growth, which is the next major frontier our sources dive into.
Yeah, when we transition from emotional stabilization to actual spiritual ascent, here's where it gets really interesting.
It takes a huge leap here.
It does. The texts position this stone not just as a healer, but as a literal gateway to Akashic-level insight. We are talking about deep, progressive soul integration. Our sources highlight its use in deep meditative states to access past life knowledge and ancestral wisdom.
Because the physical layers of the stone hold geological records of ancient environments.
Right. And the metaphysical parallel is that the stone acts as a bridge to ancient spiritual records. It pulls the lessons you supposedly learned in previous spiritual phases or lifetimes right into your present awareness.
But it does so with a sense of profound continuity. It is not about chasing the high of a sudden, intense spiritual activation or a fleeting weekend retreat epiphany.
No quick fixes.
Exactly. In fact, thousand-layer quartz is highly respected in the literature as a teacher stone. And a teacher stone demands spiritual discipline. It demands devotion to the process.
It's strict.
It is. It serves as a constant physical reminder to the seeker that true spiritual growth is cumulative. It is a sacred process governed by divine timing, not human impatience. You are required to sit with the spiritual lessons, to chew on them, and to ensure that you deeply embody the current level of understanding before you are permitted to access the next.
It's the ultimate check on spiritual arrogance. It's the stone saying you can't skip to the final chapter of the book just because you want to know the ending.
Such a good point.
You have to read and understand every single page to actually grasp the story. And that sequential chapter-by-chapter methodology applies perfectly to how the source material instructs us to use this stone with the body's chakra system.
Yes, the energetic centers.
According to the text, 1,000-layer quartz primarily targets two extremely high-frequency energy centers. The crown chakra, sitting at the top of the head, governing expanded awareness, and the soul star chakra.
The inclusion of the soul star chakra is particularly noteworthy for advanced practitioners.
Right, it's not one of the standard 7.
No, it's the transpersonal energy center located roughly 6 to 12 inches above the physical crown. It is universally associated with soul memory, karmic blueprinting, and the highest levels of accessible human consciousness.
It's massive.
It is. And the text points out that working with 1,000-layer quartz here specifically helps to align the massive, overarching lessons of the soul with the grounded physical chakra system below it. It's attempting to create a functional harmony between your highest spiritual purpose and your daily experience of paying taxes and making dinner.
The ultimate balancing act.
But the actual protocol for how it interacts with the energetic body is what stands out.
Right. The sources explicitly advise against just blasting all your energy centers with it simultaneously.
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the concept of sequential alignment is paramount. Think about plugging in a massive high-voltage appliance.
Yep.
You don't just jam it into a standard wall outlet without a surge protector. You'll blow the entire grid.
You fry the circuits.
Right, rather than attempting to activate all your energy centers at once, which leads to that fried, scattered energetic state, this crystal enforces a step-by-step full system alignment.
So how do you do it practically?
The texts suggest moving the stone slowly along the energetic meridian. You allow one chakra to completely stabilize, acclimate to the frequency, and ground itself before you ever progress to the next. It prioritizes energetic maturity over rapid, unstable expansion.
So taking all of this deep metaphysical theory, how do our sources suggest you actually use this in your highly practical everyday life? Because of its highly structured, buffered energy, it is remarkably easy to integrate into a consistent daily routine.
It really is.
It's not something you have to save for a rare, intense spiritual ceremony. You can actively use it during a morning meditation for layered, incremental insight. You can place it in the center of long-term crystal grids where you are doing sustained intention work that might take months to manifest.
It is also strongly recommended as an environmental stabilizer. Keeping a piece of 1,000-layer quartz in therapy rooms, creative studios, or general workspaces promotes a very calm, regulated, methodical energy.
Just having it in the room helps.
Yes. It's fantastic for deep journaling or shadow work, where you need a steady hand to process complicated, layered psychological experiences without spiraling. And crucially, professional energy workers and therapists use it for their own ongoing energetic hygiene.
To protect themselves.
Exactly, to prevent the kind of empathetic burnout that comes from absorbing other people's chaotic energy all day.
Now, to give you a sense of just how rich and detailed the surrounding lore is, Crystals by Rob provides a massive, incredibly specific list of associations for those two main energy centers, the Soul Star and the Crown.
It is a very comprehensive list.
And unpacking these isn't just trivia. Looking at the specific gods, herbs, and planets associated with this work really paints a vivid picture of the type of energy we are dealing with. Let's look at the shared associations first, because both the Soul Star and Crown share a fascinating foundational footprint.
They do. Across both chakras, the primary animal totems are the eagle, the raven, and the spider.
Now, the eagle and raven make perfect sense. They represent high-altitude perspective, the ability to see the vast, overarching landscape of your life from above, which is exactly what the Crown and Soul Star provide. But the spider is brilliant here.
The spider is the ultimate architect. It weaves a structured, layered web, perfectly echoing the physical step-like layers of our quartz.
That's structural integrity again.
Yes, and the ruling element is, unsurprisingly, spirit.
Looking at astrology, we see the air signs dominating: Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. Air signs govern intellect, higher thought, and the ethereal realms. The associated planets for both centers are Jupiter and Uranus.
That is a potent planetary mix.
It is such a potent combination because Uranus governs sudden lightning strike awakenings and pure innovation, while Jupiter brings the massive expansion and philosophical framework required to actually integrate those sudden awakenings into your life.
The deity associations carry that same dynamic duality. The goddesses are Gaia and Juno. Gaia grounds this high-frequency work firmly into the earth, while Juno represents deep commitment to the process.
The long haul.
Exactly. And the gods include Buddha and Kuan Yin, who represent the ultimate, compassionate, slow path of enlightenment, paired alongside Ahura Mazda and Zeus, who represent the piercing, undeniable lightning bolt of divine truth.
Even the elemental spirits assigned to both chakras reflect that airy, high-vibration nature. We're talking sylphs, zephyrs, and the fairies of trees, flowers, and winds.
Very ethereal.
Very. But then Crystals by Rob completely bifurcates the list. It offers specifics that are entirely unique to the Soul Star chakra. And the focus here is heavily on purification and extremely high frequencies.
Yes, for the Soul Star specifically, the governing archangel is Mariel, associated with deep soul retrieval and karmic healing. The candle colors prescribed are white and magenta.
Beautiful.
And the recommended essential oils are ylang ylang and jasmine, both known for their intensely elevating euphoric properties.
And the herb list for the Soul Star is intensely focused on spiritual cleansing and astringent purification. It includes neroli, salvia, witch hazel, white sage, and hyssop.
Very cleansing.
Right. Witch hazel and white sage are literal clears of space and physical skin. Right? They strip away impurities. This maps perfectly to the Soul Star's need for a totally purified channel.
Makes perfect sense.
The text also mentions Roman chamomile, white angelica, bergamot, cypress, and frankincense as key botanical allies. For incense, the text specifically isolates frankincense and bergamot to maintain that clear, high-frequency space.
Now, when we shift the focus slightly down to the crown chakra, the associations ground themselves a bit more into the physical architecture of the brain and nervous system.
They drop down into the physical a bit.
Just a bit. The associated archangel is Metatron, the keeper of the Akashic records. The candle color shifts to violet. The essential oils move to rosewood and lavender, focusing heavily on calming the central nervous system.
And the herbs for the crown chakra are absolutely fascinating if you know anything about botany. Crystals by Rob lists Gotu kola, Boletus, Bacopa, and lavender.
The botanical nootropics.
Yes. Bacopa and Gotu kola are literal Ayurvedic nootropics. They're physically used to build neural pathways and enhance cognitive function, which mirrors how the quartz builds energetic pathways.
It's a perfect physical metaphysical mirror.
And blue lotus has been used since ancient Egypt to induce mild trance states and open the mind to the divine. Finally, the incense tied to the crown is the classic, deeply grounding blend of frankincense and myrrh.
It is just a staggering wealth of specific, highly targeted associations for anyone wanting to build a robust, multisensory practice around these upper energy centers.
It really is.
It truly emphasizes the depth and seriousness of the source material. These texts repeatedly honor thousand-layer quartz across multiple intersecting domains. It isn't just a pretty rock. It is celebrated as an architectural blueprint for emotional integration and steady, undeniable inner growth.
A masterclass in pacing.
Exactly. It stands as a profound teacher of spiritual mastery, soul integration, and above all, the practical wisdom of pacing yourself.
So what does this all mean? When we zoom out and look at all these incredibly detailed excerpts, the analogies and the deep insights from Crystals by Rob and the wisdom of thousand-layer quartz, the ultimate takeaway crystallizes beautifully.
It really does come together.
Meaningful, lasting growth, whether we're talking about your emotional baseline, your energetic integrity, or your spiritual evolution, is cumulative. It is a sacred, slow-moving architecture.
There were no shortcuts.
True emotional balance and rock-solid energetic stability are never found in overnight fixes, spiritual microwaves, or rapid chaotic releases. They are built through the crucible of time, through profound self-compassion, and through disciplined consistency. They are built, quite literally, layer by painstaking layer.
This raises an important question for you to consider and perhaps journal on as we wrap up today's deep dive. We started by discussing the exact geological mechanics of this stone, how the striking physical beauty and the profound energetic memory of thousand-layer quartz are literally formed by interrupted growth cycles.
By those forced pauses.
Exactly, by forced pauses in its development. If that is fundamentally true for the crystal, how might the interruptions, the unexpected pauses, and the frustrating setbacks in your own life be the exact conditions creating your deepest layers of wisdom and your strongest energetic reinforcement?
What a brilliant frame to put around our own setbacks. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. We hope you found some valuable, grounded insights to carry with you into your week. Keep learning, keep exploring the layers of your own experience, and we will catch you next time.
Until next time, take care.